What's up, everybody? Beau-hindman back with another video here on Little Big Robots channel. And today I wanted to make a video they've been meaning to make for quite a while. Let's see, since 2019, so for a couple years. And it's to explain one of my favorite HG kits. Not necessarily my favorite to build or my favorite to mess with or pose or whatever, but just conceptually, probably one of my favorite HG kits, or favorite kits, period. If you don't know, 1 in 144 scale HG, which stands for high grade, kits, model kits are one of the 12 lines I collect because they're just, for their price, you get such a bang for your buck. You get tons of details, and you get options. Nowadays they can actually, it's almost like one giant modular system because a lot of the parts now fold together or come together really easy. There's some that are more unique like this one, and I'll explain what Sarah is here and why she's so cool. But essentially there was a series, an animated series. Bandai makes animated series that are designed not to sell model kits, but that's kind of like, they're kind of like Saturday morning cartoons in a way. And one of the popular series they have is called the Build Fighters series, or the Build Divers series. Build Fighters was originally started to show kids who would come together. They would build the models, they would set them down on a special table, and the plastic in the model had been coated with, or whatever, these particles that would then allow them to control the models like real, kind of like remote control robots. But in the cartoon, in the animation, they made it look like, they would cut it and stuff like the kid or the young girl or boy was, or even older people too, was inside the Gundam controlling it. And they would fight, and they'd have the World Cup, and it was a really fun series. All of them, I've really enjoyed all of them. Some are better than others, but all of the Build Fighter, Build Diver, Re-Rise, all the series I've really enjoyed. And this comes from one of the later series called Build Divers, where they are scanning the model. So you would take your model kit that you worked hard on, you would set it on a plate, the laser would scan it, and then put a model, a 3D representation, not a physical model. You're not controlling the physical model anymore, but it would put a 3D representation in the virtual reality world, and you would control that. So it was more modern. I thought it was a nice take on it because they're adding VR. They even tied in a part where some of the old players of the physical model game, of the old version of the game, had conflicts with playing a version that was all just representative. It wasn't a real model. It was a 3D, computer generated graphic of the model. So it was almost like you made the model kit, you'd scan it in, then you no longer needed the model kit. So I liked how the series kind of was admitting to trying to keep up with modern trends while still, producing a physical product, something like this. Now, in the animation, I don't want to give too much away because it's anime, so of course it's all over the place. It's a bit hard to understand here and there, but this one's pretty easy. In the animation, Sarah is essentially a creation. She's a virtual character. So one of the characters befriends her. She's like a little kid or something like that, whatever it is. And at some point, again, I don't want to spoil this, so if you don't want to hear these spoilers, please click off now, but I'm going to give a little bit of some spoilers. At a certain point in the animation, they realize that they can take an actual model. They actually make a physical model of Sarah. They put her AI basically on a chip, and they put it in the model. Now, it's been a few years since I've seen it, so if I'm missing anything, let me know. But they put the chip into the model, click or whatever, and then the chip, using the special particles in the plastic, like the earlier models from the earlier version of the game, that AI, Sarah, can now control the model. So she is essentially I guess an AI or a living model, toy. So it'd be kind of like if you shrank Data from Star Trek down, and he was made of plastic, that's what she is. So it's really fantastical. It's really it's a stretch of the imagination. But what is so special to me, what really hit me about that moment, I thought was really nice, is as you watch these shows, you understand that the show is designed to sell toys. not just sell toys. They make money off the animation separate from the toys and the model kits, and make money separate from the animations, of course. But it really is, I mean, let's be honest, it's designed to sell toys. What I like about the Build series is it reminds me of being a kid when you would see something in a cartoon, maybe a G.I. Joe or a Transformers, even though those weren't my favorites, you know, something like that. You could go to the store and you could actually buy a toy of it, and it was kind of a neat crossover. So with Sarah, they not only crossed over into saying that the video game, the AI character, now controls the model that one of the kids actually made. For example, a model looked just like this. But it also crossed over into our real life, into this reality right now, into this creation. So this is, as far as I know, not a 1:144 scale model kit. All the rest of the models in this line, HD, are going to be 1:144 scale generally, right? This is the first model kit, again, correct me if I'm wrong, that is 1:1 scale. This is the literal representation of Sarah's size, weight, look, coloration, all that stuff. This is for the most part, this is a perfect representation of what they had in the animated series. So what was so interesting to me about that is you would watch the cartoon. If you, let's say you're a 12-year-old and you're into this, you watch the cartoon, you say, that's really cool, they made a little version of her. And hopefully I'm showing a couple little clips here as I'm talking to you, but they made a little version of Sarah who actually, they would just stick her in somebody's purse or pocket, and they would kind of babysit her. They would take turns taking care of her. I guess she didn't eat or, you know, go to the bathroom or anything, so I guess she just lived, you know, like an AI. And so you'd watch it, you think, oh, that's interesting. And then you could literally go to the store, a hobby store, or order it, and you would pick up a 1:1 scale of exactly what you saw on the screen, just like that. So for me, the ability to actually build a Sarah doll, the model itself, the toy itself, is not the really awesome part of it. I'm not into like cute little, you know, maid outfits and stuff. That stuff is a little bit weird to me. I'm a grown man, you know. But she was supposed to be a little kid, and, you know, this is what she looks like in the cartoon. And it came out, they found a neat way to make the cloth. It's a pretty simple kit to make, yet you can still see all the chances for customization, all the line work you probably should be doing. You can actually remove this face, and you can put her human face on, which is something I believe she does in the cartoon. It's been a while in the animation there. So you can actually put a human face on it, or the more robotic looking face. I prefer the robotic looking face. I just thought it looked really, really cool. So I keep that on. I like how her eyes are just a sticker, but they have that nice reflection on it. So it's the kit itself is not that, it doesn't blow you away. Nowadays, this is pretty standard stuff. Back in the day, this would have been a life-changing kit for somebody to have such organic shape in a model kit, you know, that you could pose and everything. So she has this very realistic, quote unquote, you know, it's like you know, her arms look real in a way. It's a realistic silhouette as far as it's not just boxy and angular and full of lines, if you know what I mean, like right angles. So the kit itself is not amazing. It's fun, but it's the fact that you're actually literally doing exactly what the kids in the cartoon did. You go to the store, you make the Sarah doll, and then you have a 1:1 exact representation of the character in the cartoon, minus the AI, of course. But you could probably argue that one day, maybe within, you know, not too long, they could actually do something like take a character, coat its plastic with certain kinds of whatever, put it in a little box or something, and it would be able to be animated or controlled like a toy that simply. And then if you could build a little AI, maybe. So it's not a super, it's not a super far-fetched idea that we'll have toys one day that will have AIs in them, and that could also walk around and maybe talk and stuff like that. It's already happening in the world of robotics. It's just not on that scale, and it's not that successful. But there was something about that crossover from, it was like a world within a world within a world. You had the world of the Build Divers, where they would take their real creations, scan them in, control a virtual creation to fight and to play and to hang out in the MMO, in the game. They eventually meet in real life in the cartoon, which is a great moment if you've ever met people that maybe you've gamed with one day. And at the end, in the end, they end up bringing the AI world, the artificial world, the MMO, into real life, which is what you do when you go in. Oops, her skirt fell. Okay, I'll put that back on. You go in, you buy this item that started off as a computer-generated design. Somebody designed her in, the software where they design like creatures or whatever. Her information for that design went into some machines. It made some molds. They tested them out and fine-tuned them. And then now machines print this out individually. All these little parts are printed out. And so that when you get it, you assemble all these parts that when you first look at them, you can't see necessarily a figure in them. But when you're done, you see something that's very organic and very, cartoony, yes, but also kind of a realistic silhouette. So you're participating in the entire process that the show is talking about. You're living the experience that the characters live in the game. So I just, for some reason, that has always stuck with me, and I wish that more people maybe took the time to appreciate a hobby where you're literally creating something that you're not creating necessarily a toy, you're creating somebody's idea, but it could have 20 years of design behind it. So, these things have been around long enough. By the time you get to this one, we're talking since what, the 70s, when early 80s, when they were really doing the kits, 30, 40 years, whatever it is. So this is a perfect culmination, I think, or a perfect wrap up. If you stopped right here, you could say all of Bandai's Gunpla model kits, especially 1/144 scale, ended here. This is peak design. It's not the best design, it's not everybody's favorite design, but this is exactly what they're trying to do with their hobby. They're trying to have people get invested into a character, buy a box full of plastic, put it together, and then have a physical representation of that character that typically only existed in a video game or in an anime. And she's the perfect example of like that. So I just find her so interesting. I love the idea of her and how she came about, and that she is so unique. This character is so unique in the entire, I can't think of one in the entirety of Gunpla. Granted, I'm new to the cartoons. I don't watch them a lot. I love the kits. So tell me in the comments if you know something else. But she's just wonderful. Go pick her up if you want. She's not a surprising figure type build. If you built any of them, you're going to be used to that. But she is a very cool looking character. She's begging for customization, paint jobs, whatever, at very minimal. Panel lines, stuff like that. But it's just such a glorious thing. I hope you got what I was trying to say. If not, let me know. But that's Sarah Doll for you. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I'm glad I did, because I can finally put her back on the shelf, because when you handle her a lot, she kind of falls apart. So, but have a good day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.